On last week's episode, we dove some incredible structure, got on a ton of fish, brought a ton home for dinner, and we finished off the day with some dockside shenanigans. Now this week, we're gonna head to the West Coast to dive with my good friends Cole, Trey, DJ, and my dad. We're gonna stop and grab some scallops and then get into the hardcore spearfishing. So I haven't even gotten in the water yet, and we got Cole Parker fishes over here. Whoa. That's just him. Get it up, dude. What are you doing? Dang.
Yeah, it's so murky and there's such low light, I can't see it from the surface.
Cole's struggling too.
Yeah, I bet.
Look. Is that our limit?
Yeah, we got our limit.
All right, sweet. I didn't even get a chance to get in. Cole Parker Fishes didn't let me. I'm gonna roll on some footage from last year so you guys can at least get an idea of how these little guys are caught. So we are just out here getting the appetizers, and these are the same scallops that you can find in the restaurants, and they're absolutely delicious. They're really shallow, a great time for you to grab them with your family, and you can turn it into a fun all-day event. Here we are getting after the bay scallops, and the season usually runs from the beginning of July until the end of September. But depending on what area you're in, you're gonna have to check your local regulations. All right, so we are loaded down with scallops. We got our limit, and now we are sending, Cole, what's the limit?
I don't know.
A 5-gallon bucket topped off is your limit, and you're probably gonna get about 1 meal's worth, maybe a little extra. We're gonna collect everybody, we're gonna send it offshore, and I'm excited to get into the fish, so let's go. We are on the spot, ran offshore. We got a little marker buoy over there, and then we're just anchored over here. Cole Parker Fishes is ready to get in the water. Let's see what's down below. We got like 15 foot of biz, so it's gonna be green, but hopefully the fish are around.
I'm afraid of the sharks though.
All right, you guys, welcome underwater and welcome to the voiceovers. Now, I'm really excited to bring you on this trip because we get into a variety of fish, and it's some insane diving. I always love heading over to the West Coast. It's just tends to be a lot fishier. Now, usually the conditions aren't great. Usually it's a little murky, but we're actually in for a surprise, because you'd be surprised on how clean the water is. But it is green. It does have this weird green tint to it. But this is my first drop. And before we came to this spot, the guys on the boat were telling me how sharky this area was, because they went fishing, or I think they even went diving, and they hopped in and just there were reef sharks and bull sharks everywhere. So my head was on a swivel. Now I go down, I want to secure dinner because we have a really cool treat for you guys. And a mangrove snapper is absolutely a perfect choice. So this guy, I'm waiting for him to clear the structure. And once his head turns a little bit to the left or to the right, you see him kind of clear the structure and then go sideways. That's whenever I pulled the trigger. And whenever I'm going, usually sharks are attracted to the commotion. So I try to get my hands on the fish, get a hold of it, try to keep it from struggling, and my head is on a swivel. You can see me looking around. I look behind me. I'm honestly waiting for a shark to pop up, but I don't see any. And that seems to be the case this whole trip, which is, I'm not complaining, especially whenever it is fishy and we don't have to worry about sharks. So this was my first drop, and you see that viz is not that bad. From the surface, you can't see the bottom, but you can sure see everything once you're down there.
Such good viz. Dude, it's like, you go down 10 feet, you can see bottom. There's a nice red. Yeah. Yeah, and then this. Hey, DJ, you want to shut up? Hey, it's legal too. I know you don't like it, but it's legal. Dude, viz is so good. Yeah. You make a duck dive and you can see bottom. You start making out bottom. But there's not a lot of fish.
Here we go with the next drop I make. And we are going for grouper. Gag is actually closed. And of course, you'll see on this drop, I see a ton of gags off in the distance. But it's, as you saw before, it's the same exact kind of, I don't know what these are called. They're like little anvil triangle just structure. That hogfish might be legal. I know that the regulations are different over here, but I'm not really out after hogfish. But out in the distance, yeah, you see gag right there, and then there's a couple of more off into the distance right there at the bottom of the screen. Crazy how many there are around. And none of these are really substantial, and they're not that big, so I don't even know if they're legal. But on my way up, I look down and I see a grouper, but it's a little bit different than the gags, and it's a red grouper. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and head up to the surface, tell Cole, you see right there in between the structure, that's the red. I go up, tell Cole, and he's about to make a drop.
There's another mangrove. Check inside the holes, you'll see him, and just kind of maybe scare him out. He swam in there whenever I went down. A good one, like the one I shot.
You guys, really quick, this video is brought to you by LiTime Power. I ended up getting a battery, a solar controller, and a huge inverter, and I installed it all in my truck. This is the outcome. So inside this box is the 165 amp hour battery, and it lasts, it barely even goes under 100%. And I know that because I have a solar panel on top, and it comes right to this solar controller, and it always stays at 100%. And I'm using that to charge or keep my fridge running. And then you can plug anything into this 2000 watt inverter. It has a little display screen, and it keeps track of your battery, shows you the output. And just to give you an example, I have a box fan, and I can run this all the time if I'm with, out hunting or cleaning fish. And this thing can do vacuum sealer. It can power microwave, anything you want. This inverter could take care of it. But it'll power this fan. You can see it's only burning 70 watts, and this thing goes all day. And especially because I have the solar panel with the solar controller, this thing is just fully decked up, ready for off-grid. And I run my fridge at 35 degrees, and I can run it as a freezer, and I can run it all day long, every day, all day. And I mean, that's what I do. I have snacks in there if I ever need snacks, waters, Gatorades, anything I need, I have right there, all at my fingertips because of LiTime Power. So if you guys are interested in decking your truck out, camper, sailboat, look into their lithium products. Also, they have everything that goes with it. Link will be in the description below. And now back to the video. So I just got the tail end of Cole making the drop and shooting that red. It's right there. He makes a nice shot, shoots straight down into him. And I'm sure he's a little shocked too that there's no sharks. But you see how he got that fish right to him, held it in his hands. I have a bird's eye view. I'm keeping an eye out for sharks. He heads on up to the surface, and that is going to be lunch. And make sure you guys stay tuned. We have a little hack on the boat for lunch right here.
Yeah, he's not easily. You want to prep him in, and I'll make a drop while you wait. I might have brought it in some stuff. All right.
Now, normally, whenever we're on a structure like this, I'm gonna bump around, but you'd be surprised how hard it is to stay on this area. So we have that marker buoy marking this same structure, and I make a drop on it because I'm really hoping that something comes off in from the distance, comes cruising in, like some kind of bigger snapper, or maybe another red grouper or a hogfish. Especially since Cole just shot that other red, I know there has to be something hanging out. Now, obviously, there's a ton of gag grouper everywhere. You just saw them scatter there at the bottom. But as I go down, I kind of see a hogfish off in the distance. And look at all those gags. Actually, no, I think that was rainbow runners. But there were gags all around, and I think they just went into the structure. So I go down to the bottom. I'm kind of looking around. There's some rudder fish, and there's a nice hogfish right here. But sometimes it's a good idea to be patient and follow fish. So that's what's happening now. This guy's giving me the tail wag. It's not the end of the world. So I'm just going to go ahead and kick along the bottom, go ahead and follow. And there's a high chance that he could bring me to something else, which he does right here. A nice red grouper. I haven't shot one of these in a while. Took this shot, nice stone shot. And as I go over to him, I look off in the distance and see even more structure. and that's where these fish were kind of hanging out. So I head to the surface and we decide to, I think we make a couple of drops on the same structure again, and that hogfish comes back to it, but we do kind of fan out and try to get onto different areas, different structure. And this is just the beginning of the day. We get on some crazy good fish. Don't go anywhere.
Cole, I found the honey hole. I swam off, I found the honey hole. There were a bunch of hogs, big hogs and huge gags.
Now I finally get a chance to follow Cole. I hope you're holding your breath with us every time we make these drops. And this is the same structure we were on. And luckily, I'll give you a little spoiler alert, that hogfish comes right back to it. And it does exactly what I was hoping other fish would do before I kind of ventured off. So Cole was kind of going to that other structure, and I grunted to him, and he turned around, lined up, landed a really good shot on that hogfish, and now that's the third variety of fish we have in the cooler. I love nothing more than just a mixed bag of different kinds of fish, because that means different types of meals. You can prepare them differently, and hogfish is an incredible fish to add to that mix.
That was the one I was lining up on earlier. Dude, I saw you like swim away from him. I'm like, "Arr!" Did you hear me grunt at you? Yeah. Yeah, man. All right, I'm gonna bring this. Actually, I'll make a drop here. Check it out, and then if not, then I'll move the marker over to the other spot. So you could handle that if you want.
So due to the fact that we haven't seen any sharks, all this debris is the gutted hogfish. We decided to gut the fish and hoping that it would bring in more fish. I'm really hoping for a cobia on this trip, because this water really screams cobia hanging out at the bottom of the structure. They love murky water. They love this kind of territory, and hopefully we get into one later on in the video. But this is the new structure that we go to. This is the one that the hogfish led me to right before I shot the red. It was off in the distance. I picked up the float, swam it over, and dropped it on it. And so now we have this spot marked. Going to the bottom, nice big mangrove snapper, waiting for him to clear. Landed a really good shot. And now one thing I wish I did on this trip was shorten my shooting line. Now I'd have it double wrapped on my gun, which means it's double the distance of my, or oh my god, it's 4 times the distance of my gun, which is a shame, because every time I shoot one of these mangroves, I string them and they go right into the structure, and it kind of becomes a little bit of a pain to get them out. So a single wrap would be perfect in this type of water. So if you ever dive the West Coast, dive in murky water, switch your gun to a single wrap, because one, you can't shoot that far, so there's no point in a double wrap, and also it gets you an advantage keeping the fish on a shorter string so you can get them to yourself and pull them from structure easily.
Yeah,
All right, we are getting into the fish. Check this out. Here, look at that. We got a couple legal red. We got mangrove, hogfish, and we actually got Trey playing one of the reds right now, and we're actually gonna cook that up for lunch. All right, so this is the special contraption right here. This is called a trucker oven. We got some Paul Bordeaux,
Yep.
and we get the pan, drop it in here, and you plug it in a cigarette outlet, and it just sits there. How long? 30 minutes?
30 minutes to 45 minutes.
This is the fillets. Got some blackening seasoning on it. Doing both sides?
Yep.
DJ, how are the sharks on this spot?
Well, they're not too many this trip.
Yeah.
They heard Jack was coming and they tucked tail and ran.
No, this is like very cobia-esque water, but just not a ton of bait. But look at that. Got it going.
Windy, dark.
It's very hard.
That's all you do, go back fishing.
Plug it in.
Red lights on.
Red lights on, it's cooking. That's so cool. Now we just go back to fishing. You all know I love keeping it real with you, so this is one of my fails. There weren't a whole lot of fails. There were some dives where I went down, looked around, didn't see a fish or saw a fish, and I was just gonna be a little more selective. But this is one where I saw a nice mangrove snapper, and I believe Cole got revenge or avenged me on this guy. But you'll see the mistake I made. I go down to this structure. I look off in the distance. The one to my left is where the marker buoy was on, but this is another one a little bit farther away. Now we're not pushing ourselves on these dives. We want to make sure we're very comfortable within our limits. Look at all those gags. So those are gags on the bottom. There's some decent sized ones, but I'm focused on this mangrove right here. And he's a little darty, and he ends up getting a little far, and I took a little bit longer of a shot than I really wanted to. But I should have just been a little bit more patient. He wasn't scared. He was going to come around, and especially since all these other gags were kind of chilling, he was going to feel safe chilling with them. So rushed the shot a little bit, but Cole gets after him on this next drop, and I get him in third person, which is epic. Here we go again, following Cole down. Nice little duck dive. And I mean, it's really hard to lose each other in this, these kind of conditions. It is pretty clear, but once you get down, and the bottom is about 50. So once you get down to the bottom, it starts to get a little murky. So that's why I really enjoy doing these double drops. Cole does a top down shot, lands a really good shot in that mangrove. And I don't mind that kind of shot. If, there's something in the background, I wouldn't mind it just being sand. And that's what Cole did on this drop. But once that structure is behind the fish, I usually don't like taking that shot because my spear will just get obliterated.
I got that entire thing on video. I was right behind you.
Thunderstorms started to roll in, so we decided to pick up anchor, find a new spot, and then drop anchor there, and boy, are we happy we did. It's a little late in the day, so you can see the viz isn't that great, but this area we're in is an old shipwreck, full of life, full of bait, and this is my first drop on it. Now I go down, there's a huge boiler, which has a ton of snapper in it. There's kudas everywhere. And now this is what I'm talking about when I say it's cobia-esque water. So you see all the life, all the bait cruising around. This is just an oasis in the middle of a desert in the Gulf. And it's just beautiful to see. I love this kind of structure. I love this, just seeing the kind of life on this spot. And again, gags everywhere, big gags, gag grouper everywhere. And then nice mangroves off in the distance, but I'm really hoping for the cobia. We already have a ton of fish, so I'm going to be very selective. I want to get that variety. I want to try to solidify a cobia, and we can always come back here on another day and get some snapper. We know they're here. We know the kudas are here. We know the bait's here. The structure's here. It's not going anywhere, so I'm going to be really selective this afternoon on this spot.
There's so many mangroves.
Boiler?
Where?
Boiler down there.
Yeah. What do you mean? Dude, it's like a big shipwreck thing.
Here we go, about to take one of my last dives of the day. Same area, but you see it's really hard to figure out what structure you're over. So you're not sure what area of the wreck you're on, but I usually like basing it off of the bait fish. So once I see a lot of bait fish, I know it's going to be a good time to dive. And most of the time when you go down through the bait, there's usually some bigger fish in the area. So I'm really hoping for a cobia. I'm just kind of hovering. And I feel like that's what you have to do on these spots, because if you go down and sit down along the structure, there's going to be stuff cruising by you that you're not going to be able to see. So I like kind of being just a little bit over the area. And I end up seeing towards the end of the dive a monster gag grouper right there off in the distance. And the fact that that fish is here, it's a big predator fish. I know the cobia has to be nearby. They're probably patrolling the wreck, and fingers crossed either myself or Cole can get a shot on the one if it is cruising by.
Dude, there's a stud guy. A stud.
You guys wouldn't believe it. On the very next drop, Cole goes down, shoots a fish, and I just see his line take off. And now I knew exactly what he had shot. That's only one thing that's gonna be pulling that, and that is a cobia. And of course, a school of them came in. There were 2 small ones, and then this big one that he popped. And he's using a smaller gun, so I'm not quite sure. But I went down, checked the shot, and all I did was grab the line and kind of pull it away from the structure. Once I got it away from the structure, it kind of got tangled up on
Nice shot. I'm gonna put it back a shot.
the marker buoy, and at one point I just accepted defeat. I was like, we're gonna have a total crap show. We just need to get this fish away from the wreck up high enough to where I could get a backup shot in him. And the reason I do a backup shot, that's probably a good shot, but when you get your hands on these fish, they go absolutely crazy, and there's a high chance they could rip out even a really good shot. So I just don't take any chances, and I just always put a backup shot in a cobia if you have the means to.
Hey, don't even bother. I'm not gonna be able to bring them. They're like impossible to bring. Yo! Dude, I was trying to keep him out of the marker buoy. Hey, we gotta throw everything in there. Clear the space. We gotta throw everything in. Because he got wrapped up in the marker buoy, he got wrapped up in everything. And there's 2 shafts in him. Here, Trey, take this. Here, we'll get in and we'll sort everything out. Yeah, we're gonna sort everything out. We got.
So fucking crazy. Here, I can't do that.
Oh my god. No, just pull everything. Woo! Alright, that was awesome. Hopped in on a new spot. Cole ended up sealing the deal, baby. Yeah. Dude, nice cobia.
Cole Parker cobia.
Cole Parker fishes for cobia. That's what I'm talking about. That was awesome. He gave me the thumbs up, and I saw him like holding his drag on his reel, and I was like, dude, he shot it. And so I went down, I was like ready to put a backup shot, and I saw it, dude. He had it right through the head, and I saw the flopper over there engaged. I knew that sucker wasn't going anywhere, but yeah, and so I just started ripping him away from the wreckage. Once he got to the surface, I didn't want to take a chance, so that's when I put that extra shaft in him. And yeah, dude, landed solid, dude. That was awesome. It was so sick. Woo! Oh, that was exciting. I love that, getting the adrenaline rush in, but yeah. Oh, while we were doing that.
Try it, Jack.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Dang, that is melting your mouth. We are stoked on that. Dude, now we got some serious fish in the cooler. Woo! A little hack I've been doing for a while now is using these fish bag. This one I got is Buffalo Gear. Super affordable. They hold ice well, very durable. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorite bags on the fish market, but I actually have a discount code. I will leave a link down below, but you're gonna check out how we process these fish. Cole, go ahead and bring it around over here. Nice work, Cole.
Yeah, I'll get one.
Dump it on there, and we're gonna put a little bit of salt water in there. The best part about this is transporting it in and out of the boat, moving it around. Super easy to get the fish. All right, we made it back to the ranch, washing down the boat. See what we got. Nice little spread. I might do some hog hunting while I'm here, because look at that, we got some side-by-sides, and the hogs are running rampant around here, so we might do a little bit of hog hunting while we're at it. But yeah, look at this. Nice Nice catch. We're gonna start chopping these things up. We're gonna do a little cook up with you guys, so don't go anywhere. All right, this is the aftermath. We're over at the hunting camp. DJ, is it okay if I show people your home?
Yeah.
He lives in this kitchenette. In here, he sleeps on the floor. I'm just kidding. But yeah, Trey's already got it. He's got the scallops. What is that, cooked in butter? Garlic?
Garlic butter.
Garlic butter. We got the sauteed, and we got the everything except the cobia. We have a little taste of everything except the cobia. We're gonna save something for that for another adventure or another occasion. Yeah, it's hard to get better than that. Cole landed his biggest fish and his biggest cobia, which is pretty exciting. I'm actually gonna test it right now. I want to sit down. This looks like the mangrove. Dude, this looks so good. Very good job. Tony Sass. That's what he is, Tony Sass. Nothing else, nothing else?
Nope. Just
wow. Yeah, it definitely has a ton of flavor. All right, I'm gonna try some of those scallops, actually. I'm gonna grab one off of his plate. Just to taste that. So good. That is awesome. Very rare I get scallops, but I'm actually excited I got to do it in a little mixed bag. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new, consider subscribing. We're gonna dig into this stuff. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. I do my best to respond on a timely manner, but I love the support. Love hearing from you guys. And like always, I'll see you guys next Tuesday for another adventure. Oh, and I post every Tuesday at 3 o'clock. I've established that. So I'll see you guys next week for another adventure. Later.